Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chuchu Reviews, the show where I take 4 random, unrelated albums, and I stick them in a blender, and then I review them, I rate them, and I rank them. Simplicity achieved. A few of the records this week were pulled from the comments, so if you have an album you'd like to see featured, why not drop a suggestion, and who knows, you might just get lucky. So let's have a look at this week's combatants in alphabetical order. First we have Pink Elephant by Arcade Fire from 2025, which is my own personal pick for inclusion. Next we have Wish You Were Here by Badfinger from 1974, which was nominated by Tailtube. Then we have Sticky Wickets by the Duckworth Lewis Method from 2013, which was nominated by Ian Botham's Balls. And finally we have George Harrison by George Harrison from 1979, which was nominated by Cousins. So now the battle lines have been drawn, let's be complete rankers and rank up a storm. This is Chuchu Reviews. Coming in last place this week we have the self-titled album by George Harrison from 1979, which was the ex-Beatles' 8th solo LP. And what we have here is a lightweight, wispy album of MOR soft rock and jangly pop that's very mid. Like, it's okay. It's even kind of pleasant in an ignorable kind of way, but it's not vital or attention-grabbing either. And almost all the songs fall into that category too. Tracks like Not Guilty, Here Comes the Moon and Soft Touch have nothing interesting going on in the lyrical or vocal department, but are made palatable by some pretty guitar work. Blow Away has a rudimentary catchiness, making it halfway decent. While my favourite track on this, Soft Hearted Hannah, has a nice kind of vaudevillian tint to it. Its bobbing melody and popping horns making it a good bit of fun. Other tracks though do tip towards the wrong side of the so-so mark. I'm personally not keen on the opening ballad, Love Comes to Everyone, which is pretty beige and uses horrible keyboard tones. Faster has some cool samples of race cars in it, but is otherwise totally forgettable. Your Love Forever is an unspeakably dull ballad with no hook whatsoever, while Dark Sweet Lady should be filed under the dictionary definition of elevator music. So yeah, like I said, very mid. It can be blandly pleasant, but it can also be blandly dull. Whichever way it trends though, it's still going to be bland in some capacity. Perhaps most worryingly of all though is that this LP is considered to be one of George Harrison's best solo works. Oh dear. Now I'll throw up my hands and admit that I don't know a whole heck of a lot about George's solo work, but I do know that this is nowhere near as good as All Things Must Pass. Like, it's not even in the same ballpark, hell it's not even in the same country. So if this self-titled LP is legitimately one of his best, then I shudder to think what his weaker records sound like. 3 stars. Next up we have Sticky Wickets by the Duckworth Lewis Method, which was the duo's second LP. And yeah, who, what, where, how? So the Duckworth and Lewis Method is basically a supergroup duo of Thomas Walsh from Pugwash and Neil Hannon of the Divine Comedy, and they specialise in, songs about cricket. Not just songs about cricket, entire albums about cricket. 2 of them to be precise. If that sounds totally bonkers and eccentric, well that's because it is. If it also sounds like something the Kinks might have attempted, well yeah, that too. There's zero doubt that this album was heavily inspired by Ray Davies and all the wonderful things he did with the Kinks. And yeah, it's great. If you've ever heard a Divine Comedy record, then you know exactly what you're in store for here. Cue lots of Baroque, Kinksian and vaudevillian pop tunes that are often kissed by classical instrumentation and excellent witty lyrics. As incredulous as it seems that anyone could pull off an entire album of songs about cricket to any worthwhile degree, the Duckworth Lewis Method have just pulled it off here. The record is twee, melodic, funny and just endlessly charming in a very British kind of way. Highlights on a consistent and consistently idiosyncratic release includes Boom Boom Alfredi, which is an ode to the good old-fashioned English tradition of streaking naked across the pitch. The tune also has a nice sense of ethnic psychedelia threading through it. The likes of It's Just Not Cricket and the Laughing Cavaliers jump wholesale into the pool of Kinksian vaudeville and are a lot of bobbing fun with their music hall review. The Umpire is a sumptuous none more Divine Comedy style ballad that ponders the pointlessness of umpires and referees in the modern technological age. Line and Length is so much dumb fun with its purposely janky 1980s synthpop and hilarious lyrics that obsess over the bounce ratio of a cricket ball. While Judd's Paradox sees the British legend Stephen Fry giving a typically mesmerising spoken word performance over an ear-catching moody slice of orchestral-tinged bombast. But yeah, you just can't go wrong with anything on this record, provided you have a place in your heart for twee whimsy, of course. I mean, even Neil Finn turns up on this record. The entire LP is just a summary British treat from start to finish. 4 stars.
It's not cricket. No, doesn't work.
Next up we have Pink Elephant by Arcade Fire, which was the American art rock band's 7th LP and was released just a scant while ago in May 2025. And boy oh boy, let's get straight to the elephant in the room, the one that isn't pink. Arcade Fire have been on the receiving end of a big push towards being cancelled. This of course stems from the sexual misconduct allegations levelled at frontman Wim Butler, who apparently slept with other women outside his marriage and didn't treat them very well on an emotional level, manipulating them with his fame and taking advantage of an unbalanced power dynamic. Yeah, okay, so what? Like, rock stars have been sleeping with eager women since the very concept of being a rock star was born. And you know, he slept with other girls while being married? Well, shock horror, a billion office workers probably do that every single day. Also, Win Butler is famously married to another member of the band, so how much manipulation could there have actually been? I mean, hey ladies, if you want to have a healthy relationship and feel good about yourself, don't sleep with famously married rock stars. I mean, that's totally your decision. Those things that you walk on are called legs. All you need to do is keep them closed around married men. It's not fucking rocket science. So basically the whole cancellation thing is just total nonsense. And so is the overblown negative reaction to Pink Elephant, which was pretty much treated like a witch and was publicly burnt at the stake without a fair trial. I mean, most of the reviewers out there would have you believe that this is straight up one of the worst records ever made, which is nuts. That's just wokeness gone insane. Far from being a weak album, I personally think that this is a pretty major return to form for Arcade Fire, and easily their best since Reflector, which was released over a decade ago. And yeah, I like every song on this. The record has a really good emotional atmosphere that feels both sad and cathartically hopeful. This is bolstered by some very tastefully done instrumental interludes, which concentrate on atmospheric texturing. They really do enhance the vibe. As for highlights, like I said, I enjoy every song. Title track Pink Elephant and Year of the Snake are great sadness-encrusted art rock ballads that have a nicely spacious sound palette. Circle of Trust is a slick bit of electronic pop that feels instantly ready for radio play. The likes of Alienation and Love Her Shadow push on that cool electronica vibe even further, with Love Her Shadow in particular being a very nice electropop ballad. While Ride or Die is absolutely gorgeous with its cracked vocals and lovely stripped down feel. So yeah, and in the repetitively pulsing closer Stuck in My Head, and you have a fantastic art rock record that sees Arcade Fire at their most emotionally engaging. So as I said, I just don't get the huge tidal wave of hate directed at this LP. What an odd world we live in, eh? I suppose I'm now going to get cancelled for giving this a good review. But yeah, I don't care. I cancelled myself out of the womb. 4.5 stars. Coming in first place this week and taking home the Chuchu Review's gold medal, we have Wish You Were Here by Badfinger, which was the Welsh rockers' 7th LP. And this album caught Badfinger at a tumultuous time in their career, still reeling from the dissolution and financial fallout of the collapse of the Beatles-run record label Apple, and also getting caught up in a lawsuit between their new label Warner Brothers and their management. The lawsuit resulted in this album being recalled, which means that the original vinyl release has become something of a rarity. And that's a shame because this is an excellent album of jangly guitar rock and Beatlesy pop, which briefly pulls me back to George Harrison and the record that came in last this week. Wish You Were Here and George Harrison's self-titled LP are ostensibly the same record. They are very much doing the same thing, playing in exactly the same musical sandbox. It's just that Badfinger are doing it much better. Sorry to keep railing on you there, George. RIP, you're still an absolute fucking legend. Anyway, highlights on a simple yet highly enjoyable and super melodic guitar pop record would include Gotta Get Outta Here, which is rad with its rich organs and lovely steel-stringed acoustic guitars. The song really reminds me of Strangers by the Kinks. No One Knows kicks ass with its gorgeous guitar shimmer and jangly thrust. Dennis grabs you by the ears with its swooning melody and prog-tinged refrain. In the Meantime / Some Other Time is great, its brooding atmospherics, badass guitar riffage and frequent time changes adding up to a banger. Well Closer, Meanwhile Back at the Ranch / Should I Smoke ends the proceedings with a triumphant bang, full of cool guitar fills, cavorting horns and a joyous swagger. But yeah, everything on this LP hits in such a pleasing way. From the instantly inviting opener, Just a Chance, to the textbook bouncing guitar jangle of You're So Fine, to the sweetly melodic balladry of Love Time, it's all high quality material that also has that 1970s X-Element classic rock charm to it. 4.5 stars. And that's another episode of Chuchu Reviews in the bag. Of course, I know you'd rank these records differently, so why not sound off in the comments and tell me which one would have won for you? And why not drop a nomination while you're there? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and all that other kind of YouTube jazz. Make sure to take care of yourself, but most importantly, just keep on ranking.
Gotta get out.